Perhaps my first experience with the Michigan Central or the railroad, really, when I was growing up in Dearborn, a friend of mine and myself, we would sometimes come down on the weekends on our bike down here to the Michigan Central Station, and my friend was a collector of railroad timetables and so forth, and he knew about 3 or 4 different people he could stop in and get these timetables from. We kind of begged him off of the officials that worked inside the station. March of 1971, I hired out, and really the way I got my job was from one of the people that I begged timetables from when I was in high school, who was the chief train dispatcher. And he set me up as a block operator for Penn Central at the time. It was busy. It was extremely busy with traffic to and from Canada. And thereby, as you know, working as a train dispatcher's clerk one night, on the first floor at this corner of the station right over here, I looked out the windows and it was night, and from that window you can see all the way up to Junction Avenue, which is quite a distance, 2 or 3 miles actually, and I got the most incredible feeling of awe as I was watching all these lights coming and going down the track, which were trains. My incredible sense was that I was in the nerve center of a busy railroad.
Oh, a lot of stuff on the floor. Look at that. See, there's a train out there right now. Wow. This is the window I looked out that night, right here, right here.
I really worked on the railroad here from 1971 to 72, and from 1978 to 1983. Really, I worked inside the station in the train dispatcher's office in 1982-83 as a train dispatcher's clerk.
The one guy was up on the roof, and the first 5 or 6 floors are messed up because it's open, and the wind and the rain and everything's got the floors buckled and the plaster's falling off from the water coming from the roof. But after that, from about the 12th floor down, the damage you see is from the kids running through and just yanking marble off the wall and busting windows out, kicking holes through walls so they can run through it, you know. They come in, they play tag and shit, you know. They bring the girls in here and then they run off on them. The girls are screaming, "We're over here," you know. And, you know, I don't know, you know, kids do stupid shit, yeah.
Detroit obviously has had a lot of problems, economic problems related to social issues, and because of that there is a lot of vacant buildings in the city of Detroit, and the train station, of course, is a prime example of that. And the economic problem we have is that the cost of construction to renovate a building costs the same in Detroit as it does in Chicago or as it does in New York. But the rent level or the market value of buildings is much lower than in Chicago or in New York. So for example, if you were going to try and do the building as an office building, you know, in Detroit people start screaming if they pay more than $18 or $20 a square foot. But the cost of construction is very high, and you'd have to pay about $34 a square foot to make the costs work out. consequently, we have all kinds of vacancies in the city, and it's an economic reality. There is a gap, there is a financial gap, and there are not very many ways to fill that gap without bringing in government money, federal money, or whatever.
The large pillars always impressed me because they were so smooth, and as a small child, everything is large.
Well, the building was done in 1913 by Warren and Wetmore architects out of New York City, who were also the architects of Grand Central Station.
It was, Grand Central Station, man. That's what this building is modeled after,
The station itself, the concourse, is based on Roman architecture, as was common at that time, the late 19th century, early 20th century. Looking at ancient Roman buildings, the Bassa Caracalla, for example, and these grand public spaces would hark back to that era.
It reminds me of a big cathedral, because I was in Rome when I was in the service. We went on a tour there, and I seen the Vatican and everything, And it's got the big marble columns, in the church in the Vatican where the Pope is. He's got a lot of the big marble columns like that, the Grecian columns and shit. But I don't know, the building itself would probably stand for another 50, 60, 70 years, if they would do something about the top floors, or keep the kids from coming in.